Greetings, Inquisitors. Welcome to the Holocron. This is the week 160 update for the Darth Loquitur account. Got a big week this week. We're going to be talking through all kinds of stuff with the account, Slkr getting upgraded, talk about the Rey events, the Executor beating Leviathan, and we'll touch upon the new raid stuff briefly here at the end. So first and foremost, let's get to it. Let's see what happened in the account this week. Please remember, as we get started, use that like button and get that thing out of here for me. First thing we do, we go in to make some carbonite circuit boards here. It's been a while since we cooked some of those up, so we get quite a few of those. And then we're going to make our bronzium wiring for the week, and we're going to make 207 of these. We didn't manufacture bronzium wiring last week, so we got a pretty good haul. Going into Slkr, we're going to upgrade him to gear 13. And the original intention was to take him all the way to relic 8. But then I did have some reservations about that, because with the new raid coming out and the, obviously relic 8 characters are going to do well in the raid. When I got to relic 7, I really did start thinking, man, do I just need to save these materials and do more for the raid at first, or should I go with Slkr and relic 8? And I really sat here for quite some time staring at the screen, and then I hit the relic upgrade, because at the end of the day, there's a big gap between the scores at the higher end to get raid loot, and I think our raid is going to be in that 220 range, and we're going to have to get to like 440 to get the next level, so I don't think it'll be necessary to go crazy on contribution at first. Here we're working on the Dark Trooper. He's just another trooper that we can use for the raid. I only have a few shards left to finish him out. I'd like to get him to gear 12 for the Iden team, so work on him a little bit. Mission, we got to work her up for the Malik event eventually, and we actually ran out of the Mark 6 syringes, so that'll be it for now. Slkr, we got to work on his mods, so we're going to go in and do mod work for the week, and we clear out some stuff here, get a bunch of gray mods to work on. And as we go through here, we get a whole bunch that don't work out like we usually do. Here we get crit damage with 8 speed. I try again, hit 14 speed. Try again, hit 17. 17 speed on 4 rolls, not that great, but it is a crit damage. The other stats aren't too bad. So I take a couple pokes at it, and then we calibrate it. And even though it's 4 speed, I kind of don't want to keep going, because using the higher slicing materials on a mod with sort of mediocre stats didn't appeal to me, so I stopped it there. A few more failures here. Here we get one that goes to 9 speed. We try again. Don't get success. Here's one that misses. Got some arrows here, some offense arrows. We got some other arrows there that I looked at and I wasn't that attracted to. So we got basically a bunch of stuff here at 4 speed. That's just really kind of mediocre, and I'm using up my slicing materials in a hurry anyway on those couple other mods that I tried. So after trying a few more of these, here's an 8 speed, it goes to 12 speed, and we've got this like 12 speed health mod main stat. I don't know, maybe that could be used for a character, but I just sell off a bunch of those gray mods. Here we got a green mod that had 10 speed, it goes to 14. So we go ahead, it's at the low end of what we like, but we go ahead and take that up to 6 dots. Try the calibration on it here real quick, and we calibrate and fail. But we keep the changes, we'll take that over to crit chance. Okay, here's a 10 speed mod that doesn't work out. And then we're off to the gold and purple series mods. And in here, going down through it looking, and then we find out that we've got a purple mod here with 14 speed on 3 rolls. It's okay. It's a decent potential, so we're going to go ahead and enhance that one. And we take it up, and we get 6 speed. Well, now it's looking really good. So we'll take that to 6 dots. We'll hit it to green, and we miss. And then hit it to blue, and we miss. With 21 speed, we'll keep going, and that one goes to a 27 speed mod. So a couple of mediocre ones didn't quite work out like we wanted to, but big hit here on a 27 speed mod. So whatever else happens this week in modding, that was pretty fantastic. So then we go through Slkr, and man, I looked at a bunch of different mods for him, stole from different characters, put together a set, didn't like it, put together some other stats, and in the end, I couldn't really quite get what I wanted out of this. But here's where we ended up. 11.4 with, what was the speed again? Let me check. I think 566 speed. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, 566 speed, about 100,000 health, so he's pretty fast, not quite as fast as I would want him to be. The damage is only 11.4. I thought I could get it better than that, so it's kind of, yeah, we'll look for better mods for him over time and see maybe if we can steal some. Or maybe I'll go to an offense set at some point, slow him down, and just bring up the offense. We'll see how he works out for what I'm trying to do. And that's mostly kill Jabba. I feel like going faster is going to help kill Jabba. Alright, so after fixing all of the mod slots, we go into Datacrons. Here we're going to take up this Datacron. Got some materials left from the last couple days. I do my updates on Saturday, and the Conquest goes through Monday, so we got a few more materials. This one's a health and protection. Bonuses for Imperial Troopers, but with all the health and protection, we're not really going to use it for Imperial Troopers. That's not their style. There we get a little bit of crit damage, so it becomes just a good defensive Datacron with with a little bit of crit damage. All right, then fleet fixing. We have to go in for this Executor. We got this thing to 7 stars now. We've brought it up, and just where it sits is 192 speed. If we look at our IG 2000, the speed on that is 188, and for the Executor to counter the Leviathan, you want the IG 2000 to go first and put a breach onto the enemy tank so that you can get the best damage. So we put 6-dot mods onto IG 88, and it gets up to 190 speed. So that's nice. Now we just got to get Piet down to 189, and with 6-dot mods, like magic, it's exactly 189. I didn't want to take mods off of Piet because I can't juggle back and forth with mods for Fleet Arena and Grand Arena and all of that stuff. So I just put 5-dot mods on him, and it worked out quite nicely. So here we're going to take the 3 attackers in, and we're going to face another Executor. But the other Executor is always going to get to go first because we slowed down our own Executor. And here I just barely failed to kill the Razor Crest, and in this mirror match, that's it. So I try to bring in the Houndstooth and start tanking, but the Razor Crest gets fully healed before I can get another shot off on it. So in the end, that kind of made me rethink, well, yeah, maybe that's what I need for Leviathan, but it makes fighting other Executors kind of miserable. Alright, so we came into the Rey event. I wanted to try doing this with no Zetas. Now the thing is, if you put the Zetas on Rey and you do the event, and then you try to go back, you can do the event as many times as you want after you've completed it and not waste tickets. But in the case of something like a Zeta, you can't go back and take the Zeta back off, so we had to try it here at the risk of wasting tickets. So I targeted the boss here, and we managed to get him down, but they immediately took out our hero Finn. So they keep attacking our characters and getting them low, but luckily they don't come in for repeat attacks back here on our hero Poe. So he stays in the fight, and Rey is hanging on. She keeps getting foresight. They attack her, and they miss because of the foresight. It's pretty convenient, but we work our way through it and successfully get completion. I take a look at Resistance Hero Finn's mods, and it's not bad. I mean, I don't really want to have to make him tanky, and he's meant to kill things. So we go in, we try it again, same lineup, same kind of thing. And I'm using C3PO in here because I think that it's a pretty likely scenario for the people who have the Lightspeed packs that they would have a C3PO. And I thought maybe using him would work out. Again, it wasn't clean. We lost 2 characters that time, but we do get control over the battle and managed to take it out to the end here. Now we've got the third time, and I'm trying not to area effect with Finn, but on that first turn, they just all have turn meter at the exact same time, and they just all go and they all shoot Finn, and Finn dies. So I don't know if there's any way around that. Not really a good way to mess with all their turn meters and get them off sync. But here we lose both of the hero brothers. But again, we managed to go out no problem and finish it out. So it looks like the first tier, I won't say it's reliable. I think that there could be some RNG there that would drop a battle. But looks like we can do it with no Zetas. I go into the second tier just to check that out. Same team, all the same stuff. We're going to try to kill Hux first. So we come in, we talk to Hux, and here we go. Try to do damage, and we try not to get Finn killed. So swap some things out here, and Finn instantly gets killed. But okay. They are not nearly under control like they were before. I go after the First Order pilot, but he's got foresight on. Even with the stun, we're not able to do what needs to be done there. So this quickly goes out of control. Rey gets killed, and we're going to lose this. So I don't know if this second tier, if there's a way that we can successfully get through this without Rey having the Zeta. I may check one more time and try with a different build, maybe put a tank like Holdo in there instead, maybe do some research on it. But yeah, I'll see on that second tier if there's a way that maybe we can continue to work without Zetas. Anyway, just information for the rest of you all as I get the opportunity to do that. All right, then here's my matchup against the Leviathan. So this is a fully built out Leviathan. We come in, we attack the tank, and we mass assist on the tank. And this is one of the battles that had like the bad RNG, where they actually hit IG 2000 right away, and they get a bunch of turn meter, and they go crazy and take out the IG 2000. So I haven't even killed the tank yet, but with this build and the way I'm trying to do it, we're going to keep at it. You know, we're not going to give up quite yet. So here we've got the locked buffs on them already. We heal up, keep going after the Sith Assassin. We got the tank down, and we just keep working our way through it, keep getting cooldowns on our Boba Fett for good damage. Here we are able to get rid of the enemy capital ship. And with that out of the way, we're in decent shape. We can still bring in reinforcements. We've got the Houndstooth in here, so we get a tank. And we can hide our Slave One now behind that. Get another cooldown on that seismic charge. And pull it through to a victory. So we are able to beat these Leviathans. It's kind of messy. But yeah, it works out. So I should be able to start grabbing number 1 in fleet again, it's good news. Okay, so stats for the week. Week 160, 8.19 million galactic power. We added 40,000 for relicking that Slkr. And we also 7-starred the Executor, so it seems like that should have jumped up more, but I guess not. 40,000 for us. 125 relics, 109 Zetas, 12 Omicrons. JMK still getting us in the top 20. In Squad Arena if we wanted it. In Fleet Arena, we've got the Executor now, going to be able to get us the top 5. Should be able to get that number 1 spot on payout every day now. In Grand Arena, we dropped the Kyber 4. I've been sick for a couple weeks now, and this last week, I really wasn't able to play my Grand Arena, so I basically dropped all 3 combats. The first one was a legitimate loss. The other two, I just didn't have the energy to play. Project for next week, we'll try to do Akbar, and since the way the materials have lined up while I was working on Slkr, I think I might actually have a 2 relic week next week with Akbar and Chirpa. That's the goal. We made 247 bronzium wiring this week. I made 207 in the scavenger. I got 40 from the events. Now, I usually get like 15, maybe 30 from events, but 40 from events throughout the week seems like a lot, but that's what we got. We used 220 of them, so we've only got 71 in the bank for next week. It's a grind, like always, trying to get enough bronzium wiring. Working on Rex, Sabine, Zori, and that B-28 bomber, Scout, and Marinata fleet. In signal data and Cantina, we're going to do signal data. We're also going to work on Drogan and the Death Trooper a little bit. Slicing plan's the same, slicing 4 days a week and mods 3 days. My refresh strategy is going to change slightly. I am going to go for a 4th refresh on the Cantina. We'll talk about that here in a minute. The planning for the rest of 2023 is just about Leia and raid stuff. And then we need to look to Rey, Afra, raid troopers. We got a bunch of stuff we're doing on the side. Got that Malgus, Malik team that we need to build up. So there will be a lot of, like let's say, stabilizing things I'm going to want to do after Leia. So the summary on the Rey Event No Zeta, the first tier, looks possible. It is a bit dicey, and I don't think it would have worked out, except that I have some pretty good mods on my characters. So I think if you don't have good mods, doing it without the Zeta might be rough. The second tier went very badly, so I don't have a solution to that yet. Maybe put in Holdo instead of C-3PO, get a taunt up, and maybe she can survive the series of attacks. But we'll do some more testing on that. As far as the Executor goes, the timing worked out quite nicely with the mod situation. That is with an IG-88 at Relic 7, though. So 6 dot mods on Relic 7 and 5 dot mods on Relic 8 Piet worked out with the timing. We were able to beat Leviathan in Fleet Arena. The Executor mirror is rough, though. So what I'll probably end up doing for my Fleet Arena, at least, is beating the Executors with my Profundity, because that's a known matchup. And then when I get to a Leviathan, I'll swap out to the Executor. So I think that's the way it's going to work out for my Fleet Arena. But I think it would be just fine, working my way through it. If I only had the Executor, it'd still be okay. You just have to play it like the old 5-star version, where you use your first skill to heal up one of your ships, and you just kind of slow roll it and race them to the ult and do it that way. With Cantina Energy and Zetas, I said I was going to buy some Zetas with the Mark III raid currency. I did that throughout last week, and it really isn't worth it. I mean, you get your payout, you get a purchase of a Zeta material twice a week, and it really was a lot of other stuff that I couldn't buy for relicing characters. So I think the opportunity cost there is just too high. If you're not, if you don't have any problems generating your Zimbital cards and your impulse detectors for whatever reason, then you could definitely use the currency for this. But I just feel like most of us are going to want to keep relicating characters, so we got to use that Mark III raid token for the Zimbital cards and the impulse detectors to keep that up and running. In Cantina Energy, I've been doing some calculations, and I feel like I'm kind of at a threshold where what I'd like to do is be able to have a reliable source of signal data every week, and still be able to work on characters. So what I'm going to try for the next week or two is doing a 4th refresh on Cantina. At 200 crystals is a lot to spend. So basically, being able to get back to number 1 in Fleet Arena, and I'm going to blow all of those crystals on an extra Cantina refresh every day. And the idea is just that that extra refresh is kind of how I'm going to get character shards. So I'll slowly build the characters while focusing mainly on signal data. And hopefully that'll keep the relics going at the right rate and still be able to build Cantina characters. I have to farm Drogan, of course, for Leia, but if I can farm him, a few times a day, and then so I'll use whatever energy the game gives me to farm the characters. And then when I'm doing those 4 refreshes, I'll do all 4 of those refreshes on signal data. So that's how I'm going to play it out. With the new raid, I did get a chance to experiment a little bit with that. And it looks like at the highest level, the difference between scoring with 2 characters or 3 characters at Relic 8 wasn't too much different. I got 2.1, almost 2.2 million with 2 Relic 8s. And 2.4 million with 3 Relic 8s. And it has to do with the timing of when the enemy gets enraged. So once they get enraged, it pretty much wipes your team out. And for every enemy that you kill, it provides enrage. So just sort of by definition, as you kill those enemies and score, you push them closer to enrage, then they enrage and take out all your ships. So if you can get that kind of score with 2 Relic 8s, I think a lot of players should just focus on Relic 8 pairs. So getting, like a 4th character to Relic 8 if you only have 3 is going to be useful. And with that in mind, I'm probably going to try to take Chewbacca to Relic 8. And that has to do with what's on the next page. Generally, I found that just using the basic to clear was better. There wasn't enough damage coming out of the enemy speeders at the higher relic levels to kill my guys off quickly. So usually one character was taking damage, and I could occasionally use evasion or whatever to help. But everybody else just sort of did basic attacks. If they're not taking damage, they just did basics. And it cleared more waves that way. Until they got enraged. So if they were killing my ships faster, we might look more toward tanking or evasion or something like that. But it looks pretty simple, and you just attack whenever you can. And then the other thing that I looked at briefly, there does seem to be a really good synergy with the distract skills. So I put 2 characters that have high potency and the distract skill together, and sort of pushed their buttons back to back, and it cleared a wave instantly. And the next wave, I just used the basic attacks and slowly regenerated my cooldowns. But then there was another wave, and I just did back to back distract skill. It easily killed wave after wave. So every other wave I took out in 2 moves. And that did give me quite a nice score with just 2 characters. So I think there might be some synergy. To try that out, I'm going to relicate my Chewbacca. It's the character that I have that's within striking distance, and I can pair that up with Jedi Knight Luke, and they both have a skill that works in the same way. Potency is the relevant stat for that. So I think if I jack up the potency on those characters high enough and get them going roughly the same speed so that they can just push that button back to back and just blink out a wave, I will see if that gets us a better score than doing it some other way, or if again it just pushes them toward the enrage and then we lose when we get that score because of the enrage. Anyway, it's worth some experimentation. And it was really nice just being able to click 2 buttons and clear a wave instead of basicing through it. So I think there's some synergy there with a lot of the other skills, looking at the timber stuff and the stats that go along with timber, and get alongside that one with the jamming. There didn't seem to be as much direct synergy. Now, if there is a way to use jam so that with some teams you can clear waves to the higher level and then have the right amount of jamming so that it fails to bring in one of those shadow troopers at a later stage. The shadow troopers generate a massive amount of enrage. So maybe at the end, if you have enough jam to skip one of the waves with the shadow troopers, clear another wave, and then get the last wave at the end with the enrage. you might be able to improve your score by a good amount. But the way that jam works is not clear enough to me yet, so I don't have any conclusions on that one. But it looks like for the Relic 5 area, so we talked about Relic 8, then if you look toward like the Relic 5, Relic 3 area, I think a team of 3 characters, all with Distract or Open Fire, either one of those things, Open Fire or, the 2 skills that target Distract. So there's 2 different skills that target it. And Disrupt. Yeah, so Disrupt and Open Fire. And so if you do 3 of those characters at the mid-relic levels, again, being able to clear those waves very quickly, you won't potentially have enough damage or high enough potency. But there may be a combination where you can just do 2 characters with that skill and then 1 character to tank and use evasion. Maybe we could figure something out with that. But I think in the mid-range, that's kind of the idea that we're going to want to go for, is using that skill to disrupt the enemies. All right, that's my initial conclusions. That's going to wrap up the video for today. Thank you all for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. Please remember, hit that like button on the way out if you didn't hit it on the way in. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to know when I'm online. When I'm done being sick and I'm back online. Hope to see you over on the Discord. The link is in the description of the holocron down below. Click that, come on over, be part of our community. Hope to see you over there. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next holocron.